The 2025 Audi A3. This is Audi's small premium car. And for this model year, along with its two siblings, the S3 and RS3 has received a mid-cycle update. It gets front and rear fascia changes, some light changes, and some very minor interior changes, along with some option and trim level improvements according to Audi. This is in a very small class of car, if I'm going to be honest. Basically in the US, you compete directly with the 2 Series from BMW, kind of the Acura Integra, which is a cheaper price point but front wheel drive only, and the Mazda 3 hatch premium turbo, which is also at a lower price point. And in the US, the A3 only comes as a sedan. You cannot get this as a hatch. Now, from an interior and exterior perspective, the styling is definitely on the more conservative side, though Audi does let you pick some very interesting colors. And I will say, compared to at least the 2 Series, I think this is a better looking car. The styling is more timeless. It doesn't suffer from some of BMW's overly modern styling. The interior side of the equation as well is fairly traditional. You still have physical controls. The infotainment is easier to use than I think BMW's rendition of iDrive in their non-premium cars. You have physical HVAC and drive mode controls. I think they've done a good job with this interior. Door pockets are big. The touch points all feel nice. And because this sort of feels like an older generation Audi product, nothing is frustrating to use. Seats are fairly comfortable. When it comes to noise floor, this is noisier than, say, an Audi A4 or A5, but quieter than a Golf. Just what you're expecting for a premium small car. The Sonos audio system is average. I don't think it's any worse or better than the Harman Kardon found in the equivalent 2 Series. The back seats, while they're not huge, if you're a smaller driver, you should be able to get a kid or a small adult back there. The trunk is large enough for some full-size luggages. So let's head in the shop and put this thing up in the lift. In the shop with the 2025 Audi A3. So when it comes to the A3, Quattro is standard, is the traditional on-demand all-wheel drive setup that Audi uses in their front-wheel drive based cars. It's a Haldex system. It does not torque vector in the rear. The EA888 2-liter engine is still present with a 7-speed dual clutch. However, now gets a 15 foot-pound increase of torque, does 0 to 60 in 6 seconds, 201 horsepower, 230-ish foot-pounds of torque. It gets 24 miles per gallon in the city, about 34 on the highway, and my combined is 30. It's fairly fuel efficient, does not get adaptive dampers, passive dampers as standard, small 18-inch wheels, though you can go up in size, small brakes. This is sort of a luxury entry-level small sedan. The S3, it gets a brand new all-wheel drive setup. They rip it right out of the Golf R or RS3. It gets their torque vectoring rear diff. So unlike the old S3, which was purely an on-demand setup, it can now send up to 50% of the torque to the rear, and of that 50%, 100% to either of the rear wheels. It's essentially allowing this car to yaw more like a rear-wheel drive car, though all variants of this vehicle, the A3, S3, and RS3, are built on MQB, which is VW Audi's modular front-wheel drive architecture and underpins most of their economy cars. The S3's engine also gets a slight horsepower increase, it's like 20-ish horsepower, now makes like 322 horsepower thereabouts, and 295 foot-pounds of torque. Its dual clutch, the same 7-speed dual clutch, gets a slight update. It now shifts faster than it used to. Obviously, you combine that with the updated mechanical rear diff or torque vectoring rear diff. It's a far more dynamic car. It gets passive dampers as standard. However, they are lower and firmer than what you find on the A3, and you can option in adaptive dampers. Pricing-wise, the A3 starts at just under $40,000, well equipped like this car. It's in the mid-40s. The S3 starts at just under $50,000, and well equipped, it's knocking on the door of 60 grand. And its bigger brother, the RS3, is in the mid-60s, fully loaded in the 70s, and it's a much different car than the A3 and S3. So with that, let's go take this car for a quick drive. Audi A3, Mark.
I like my cars dynamic.
You do. You like them in S dynamic. Show me.
I'm building up the tension.
You're such a tease.
My dual clutch.
Your S-tronic 7-speed dual clutch, Mark?
I've never felt dual clutches like this before. This car's quick.
Yeah.
It's way faster than I thought it was going to be.
For a regular, non-sporty, premium compact car. I know there are lots of qualifiers there, but
Right.
to me, this competes with things kind of like the Mazda 3 Turbo all-wheel drive, which is at a lower price point. The Acura Integra. Obviously, its closest competitor is the 2 Series front-wheel drive 228 from BMW.
Right.
I actually like this thing. I thought I'd be overwhelmingly bored by this car and find it 0% enjoyable, but it's just like a cruiser, particularly in bad weather with the Quattro setup. It's
I think,
good.
like we talk about this, every car is kind of quick now. You throw a turbo or turbos on cars, and they feel more effortless. I think what's good about this is not only is it quick, is it's smooth. Its power delivery is really like normal. It's not
VW Group
surgy.
2-liter. It's good.
Yeah, no, it is good, and the drivetrain tuning is surprisingly good here. Before you'd get into some of these kind of lesser dual clutch transmissions, and I'd rather have a torque converted automatic because they get so fucking jerky.
This is way better than the Mini one.
Oh my god, yeah, the Mini one is like, this is in a different league compared
the
to
BMW
that.
dual clutch is trash.
I don't know what they did with that
in
car.
the front-wheel
but
drive cars.
Yeah, no, exactly. I have no idea what the mindset was there, but I mean, this is a far more joyous car to drive, and it's less annoying too. I mean, you just put your foot in it, and like, it's just no effort.
Yeah.
And all the inputs are pretty natural aside. I feel like the brakes are a little bit touchy.
Yes.
But this is a new car too. It probably just needs to get really bedded in. I'll drive it for 10 minutes and I'll soften that pedal up real quick. But other than that, really, there's nothing that stands out as being annoying about this.
It's not a particularly exciting car.
No.
You don't look at this and go, whoa.
No, it is definitely not exciting. But I mean, this is the same complaint we have about pretty much most of the
Audis.
commodity Germans, like even Volkswagen. Their cars are, it's for somebody that really just wants conservative styling. That's what this is. This entire car is conservative, but I will definitely argue that it does what its intended purpose is very well. The all-wheel drive system works great, and that's a huge selling point if you're using this all year round,
And it's small.
It's small. Yep, you don't want a big car, and it's not.
I mean, this is definitely a niche segment of vehicles, why they don't sell very many.
Yeah.
At this price point, you're at a 3 Series. I mean, you're a couple $1,000s away from getting into the next class of car size-wise.
Right.
So you're going to have to, appreciate its, to your point, more conservative styling, the fact that it is very competent, and you don't want a big car. I mean, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. My only it's not even a problem is at this price point, I don't know what the compelling reason is to get into this, because if you're younger, I want a little bit more like flair. I hate to say it that way, but I'm like, thinking about
you could always get the
Integra.
S3 though.
Golf R
Yeah.
is in a similar price. There's just so many other cars that have a little bit more going on, and while this car is very understated, right?
44-ish thousand is tested. It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money for this. It's not that it does anything wrong. I'm just wondering, like, if you have this kind of money, I feel like the person that wants this is probably going to be skewed on the younger side.
Yeah.
So why not get something a little bit more emotional for this price point?
And if you want to sit in the VW group and you want to be automatic, you can get a Golf R to your point.
Yeah.
You can spend less money and get a new GTI.
Yeah.
Sort of that weird place. I do think these cars were definitely more designed with the European market in mind.
Of course.
Because of the space constraints of the roads.
Right.
And it's just a entry-level premium car.
I could see this if you just wanted a small sedan runabout and you wanted something that was completely competent year-round and you could get a really good lease deal on this. I could see somebody being very happy with that. Because, again, the tech part, not bad. It's
traditional,
kind of,
traditional HVAC. Look at that BMW. This works better.
I know. Like there's a lot of things that are really good about this, just tried and true. And if you got in here and you were really just like pissed off at car shopping, and you're just looking at a whole bunch of stuff, and you're like, God, I can't make a decision to get in here. I mean, it pretty much. They've checked all the boxes of what this does well as a lease, of course.
I'm sure this is going to depreciate like a stone.
Well, yeah, of course. But I don't know. But what's your final thoughts on it before we get into the real final thoughts?
Oh, Mark, seeing that I'm an Audi man at heart, you got to go Quattro, Mark. Final thoughts on the 2025 Audi A3. Honestly, This is a super competent car. If you're looking for a compact premium vehicle, you don't want something the size of a 3 Series, A4, or C-Class, this is a really good, usable car that does everything fairly well. You get good fuel economy, the drivetrain is better than the equivalent Mini Cooper or front-wheel drive BMW. I think the interior space is better to use. As much as I love iDrive, their most recent implementation and their smaller BMW-based mini shared platform cars has not been great. And in comparison, this is a far more traditional interior. I prefer the styling to this versus the 2 Series. And honestly, I think this is the better car. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon.